and welcome to an Everyday Canines video. In this series we're looking at proofing our wing wrap turns. In this episode we are going to look at wing wraps on a blind. Wing wraps on a blind cross. These are something that is slightly controversial. Some people say you should never do them. I do them, but well done Swift. I do them, but they are a thing you have to train. Now, traditionally a blind cross is when you're running on a straight line, your dog is on this arm and you want them to turn onto the opposite arm. So as you're running, dog's there, you're going to switch arms to get them to come on this side. And traditionally we were taught to do them only on a straight. Because it's a drive move, you shouldn't ever do them on a turn. That was how we were taught. However, a lot of the European handlers are out there now going, you know what? You can do a blind on a turn and it still works really well. And there's some really top handlers out there doing some amazing blinds. I'll confess that I'm not as good as these as I should be because I don't put the amount of effort into them as I should do. And Sparrow particularly, she doesn't get blinds on a turn too well. But I'm going to show you how you would teach them. And of course it's up to you if you choose to do that with your blinds. You might choose to keep your blinds purely on a straight. So your blind cross on a wing wrap is sometimes going to be the faster option because it gets you ahead perhaps where you need to go next, versus say a front cross, which is a slower manoeuvre. Because if you think when you go a front cross, you're stepping in, you're turning, you're picking up, go. A blind, you're all on one motion. For the handler, it's a smoother way of turning, it could be faster. Potentially. So let's demonstrate. The best way to do this is to demonstrate it by showing you two types of move into that tunnel and to show the difference it makes. So we'll do the front cross first. We're going up into that tunnel, so it's a wing wrap up into that tunnel. Okay, wrap, 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 wrap. Loop, loop, tunnel, tunnel, tunnel. Good girl, get it. Good girl. So I got here to send her up to that tunnel when she was sending up to that tunnel. Let's see if it'll be different when I put in a blind cross. Okay, Swift it. Rap, 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 rap. Loop, 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 tunnel, tunnel. Good girl. Fairly obvious I was a lot further ahead. Good girl. Why would that matter? Swift it. Potentially there could be something up there that an obstacle or jump that I really need to handle. So perhaps the jump over there was around the back. If I was behind, as I was with the front cross, then I'm going to have to really rely on an independent round the back. If I was where I was with the blind, I'm there to really handle that manoeuvre. So you can see that it is a potential option for getting you ahead. As I say, it is controversial because some people say you should never put a turn on a blind. I don't think it actually makes too much of a difference, but that's up to you. Teaching it, first your dog needs to know what a blind is. Swifted, you're going to come over here. What are you eating? Once your dog knows what a blind is, and I'm assuming your dog does. If you need any help with that, you can check out the Garden Agility series. There's a video on there teaching a blind. What we're going to do is we're going to show them to do it on a turn. Probably you've only ever done it on a straight, so this is going to take a little bit of time to proof. So what we're going to do to teach this, we're going to start by our traditional blind, but we're going to add in a very slight turn. So you can see if I was doing a traditional blind, I'd be over here, but I'm slightly past this wing, so I'm adding in a little bit of a turn. I'm not going to be putting in a cue because she's not. If I told her to loop loop and she followed me, that isn't what we want. That isn't what loop loop. Okay, ready? Rap, 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 rap. So we just did it as a normal blind, me throwing in the toy. Good girl. Good girl. Now I'm going to make the angle harder. So I'm going to be going that way now. Okay. Rap, rap, ready? Rap, 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 rap. Good girl. So you can see I'm gradually shaping the turn. This time I don't want to go past that wing. I want to be turning here. Ready? Rap, 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 rap. Good girl. You can see how I'm building this up. Obviously your dog may take longer to do this. Swifties. Swift has already got an understanding. Once they are doing the full turn with the blind, we can add the cue back in. Why wouldn't we add it sooner? Because we don't want them making mistakes and wrecking our verbal cue. We want to add that cue when we know they're going to get it. So ready? Rap, 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 rap. Loop, loop, loop. Good girl. So that is how we're going to be introducing a blind for our turns. Keep building on them until you can get that turn with the blind tightly like this. You can do it in various extreme ways. And then once you're there, well, that gives you another option. As I say, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. That might not be something you want to. You might want to say Momo blinds if you're straights and building up that drive. I don't want to do it on a turn. That's absolutely fine. If you do want to do it, that is how you can. I hope you've enjoyed this Everyday Canines video, and if you have, you might like to subscribe to us on YouTube, and you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. I hope to see you all again very, very soon.